medium, and tight. Super tight. An interview situation is just like any other. Camera, bulldog reporter, person you're talking with. You want to watch that axis, even with the wide, medium, tight. You don't want that camera to go over to this other side. You've got me on one side of the screen, you've got bulldog reporter on the other side of the screen. So let's say you want to go get a different angle, and all of a sudden you pick up, no, don't go over there, don't even think about going there. Just out of habit, no, don't go over there, don't go over there, go back. Just stay, don't go over there, just stay on that side. It's so much easier to just stay to one side. Even when getting another angle, it's easier to just remember, this is the line between their two noses. Stay to that side. So I'm screen right, looking at the bulldog reporter.
My nose is facing screen left.
I'm still screen left. My nose, center of the screen, looking at the reporter.
My nose is facing screen left.
And it's wet. No, it's dry. If you lose your continuity, if you mess up your wide, medium, tight, it's one word. Tight shot. Tight shot. Super tight shot. Tight shot matched action. Bob and Daryl. Tight shot. Tight shot of Bob. Tight shot of Daryl. Tight shot of Dave. Wide shot matched action of Dave, Bob, and Daryl, and Bulldog. Over the shoulder, you don't want to upset Bob and Daryl. Don't cross your axis. Don't mess with your screen direction. And that's it. Screen direction. Wide, medium, tight, action, reaction, cutaway. Screen direction. Back to you, Dave.
We're at Lake Crabtree, and a deer fell through the ice because a dog was chasing it.
It's been trying to get out now for almost an hour, and hasn't been able to get out as of yet.
He's been out there for about an hour.
An hour now?
A little over an hour.
If this was smaller, we could stand on one side and coax him to the other. Unfortunately, as far as that is, we can't coax him.
Bring the boat around like we walked in, because it's going to take you forever breaking that ice. Just go and walk it in.
Get to the back of the boat.
Go to the back.
Hands are going numb.
More than halfway, keep going.
The deer's, what, 25, 30 feet from the shore? Come on, Sarge, don't quit. Let's go. Hit the spring. Okay. David, get me out of here quick. Just as they reached her, she went under the water, and we were praying she'd be the frozen water and maybe just, put her in shock. There you go. Keep breathing.
Come on, sweetie. Too many people work too hard for you.
Hands down. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. We gave a real strong effort to resuscitate her. I tried mouth to mouth. We tried everything we knew. All right, I'll kick your liver. They're all God's creatures, human and animals. And
Couldn't make it. That's it.
I feel real strongly about it. I hate to see anything die. I just wish we could have done more. We're damn close.
582.
We're going to be starting with Class 92, Pups Hurdle, 6 to 9 months, underdogs.
It's a great experience.
It's very fun. It's pretty cool.
Love it. Love it. This is people having a lot of fun with their dogs.
This is Jack Russell Racing.
They're trying to kill the lure.
This is where they really show their own.
This is how you get them to win, yep.
Little white dogs
They're after the lure to kill it at the end of the track.
are running down track.
The racetrack is 200 feet long.
And then they're going in a little hole.
We are ready to get started.
Load them!
They're like little rockets when they get running.
Let's go!
I think they've had them clocked up to like 36 miles an hour.
Got it.
Fast. Really fast.
Incredible.
You have to let the lure get out ahead of the dog. They're all going to be trying to get to the lure at one time.
I've got to catch the dog. It's like trying to catch a greased pig.
Very, very fast.
Load them!
Yeah, they're extremely tough dogs.
They're a rugged dog.
Come on!
That needs this type of activity.
Little white lures.
Competition for the dogs.
It's the first dog through the hay.
They're hyper.
And they're running wide open through the hay, and they end up running right into the lure box.
The dogs love it.
It's fulfillment of the breed.
That's what they love.
It's actually more fun for the dog.
They just give you so much satisfaction. They're hunting dogs, and so they're a special breed.
She got third. Nobody got her. Come on, Monix, come.
And so they need special treatment.
Good girl.
And that's what this is part of.
You can give them back to the owners.
Come here, Bernie boy. The dogs just live for it.
Let's go. Woohoo!
It's got a creek out there.
that runs behind. It's a good meeting place.
It's already got trout in it.
It's funny how traditions get started. At this Phoenixville diner, fish may not be on the breakfast menu,
It'll be fun, though.
but trout is a special of the day.
Open day of trout season.
And on this opening day, a new tradition. 7-year-old Amanda is going fishing for the first time.
We're going to catch a bunch of trout today and have a good time, right?
Little fishy in a brook. Amanda caught them on a hook. Daddy fries them in a pan. Amanda eats them like a woman.
French Creek in Phoenixville.
Over 1 million people took to Pennsylvania waterways this morning waiting.
We'll be ready to go in a couple minutes.
Waiting for 8 o'clock in their own way.
Opening day, yeah, it's the only way.
Putting the power bait on my pole.
But when you're 7 years old
Trout.
and your brother is 8, patience and waiting,
Catch big fish by 8:30.
patience and waiting has its limits.
Come here, fishy fishies. Go.
You stand right here. Let me cast it out for you. Got one, man. You reel it in. It's a good feeling, especially as a kid. Like you said, it's something that sticks with you your whole life. And when they're older and they have kids of their own, they can always remember back on their first day of trout with their daddy. There you go. Reel them up. Look at that. Your first opening day trout.
Yeah.
Is that your first one on opening day?
Yeah. I've been catching fish. That's why.
One thing to learn about fishing is not just how to catch the fish,
Got one, Ryan?
but when to let them go.
He's bleeding. I want to let him go. He's bleeding. 1, 8 inches. They're moving.
Counting on catching fish may not have been a guarantee today for Amanda.
5, 6.
Her brother Samson
It was killing my arm.
and their dad Larry.
There you go, son.
What they can count on is that they caught more today than just
I
fish.
think you got something reeled in.
Oh, it's a great feeling. It's a good lunch. Then we got to go home and clean them.
So, bye, camera boy.
Camera boy.
Camera boy, and in case you're wondering, Amanda and her family caught their limit of 8 trout this morning. All camera boy Dave Wertheimer caught was a good story.
That's why.
With tips on how to make your home movies more interesting.
Good visual composition is essential to good visual communication. Every time you look through the camcorder viewfinder, you should try to compose the best scene possible. Think before you shoot. Ask yourself, what am I trying to emphasize? If you weren't born with an eye for composition, here are a few rules that'll help. Don't always center your subject. It's boring. The rule of thirds says that the eye tends to gravitate to a point 1/3 of the way from the left and right side of the screen and 1/3 from the top and bottom. By placing your subject at these intersections, they'll be at the strongest visual area of the screen. If your subjects are people, give them looking room. Imagine the screen as having visual weight. If the subject is looking right, decide how much looking room is needed to balance the picture. The same rule applies if it's a two-shot. Again, the rule of thirds can help. Go ahead. If your subject is moving, allow more room. The viewer wants to know where your subject is going, not where it's been. Foreground detail can add dimension and depth to a scene. Background should be relevant, not distracting. Be especially careful of poles, trees, fences, etc. Good composition also depends on a willingness to bend in two areas, the mind and the knees. Think about and look at all of the possible angles on your subject before you shoot. These are just some of the rules of good composition. Now set the rules aside and go experiment. As you look into the viewfinder, ask yourself, is this important to what I'm shooting, and is it composed nicely? If the answer is yes, push the button. With today's home video tip, I'm Jerry Hattan, Channel 2 News. There are lots of ways to learn composition. I like to learn from the masters, and by doing that, you study whatever you enjoy in art, be it painting, still photography, films, TV news, whatever. I always try to keep copies of some of the great masters lying around on the coffee table for inspiration, because the classics are great teachers. They can teach you to see things and shoot things like you never have before, but I don't always believe everything I read. Sometimes I have a little bit of doubt and I have to see it to believe it, or maybe I have to see it to learn how to see. In that instance, I tune to commercials, watch a little local TV news, or maybe even Hollywood.
Okay, now you.
But Caroline, I mean, I don't know anything about guns. I mean, I never even carried none.
Lord, what kind of upbringing did them Injuns give you? Never carried no gun. Why, a man ain't complete without a gun. Go snake-eyed.
Do what?
Like this. Like this. All right. Now, draw and shoot that bottle before you touch the gun.
Now, Caroline, how can I draw and shoot the gun before I touch it?
Concentration. Try it. Hot damn! Yeah.
Caroline was right. It is possible to shoot a gun before you touch it. Of course, it takes lightning reflexes and considerable snake-eyed concentration.
To lawmakers in Austin, this is the sound of money. But in the Panhandle Plains, wealth is elusive and often measured in different terms. Tiny towns are dying all over Wheeler County. The town of Ziebach disappeared long ago. Its two-room schoolhouse is all that's left to mark the passing of time. When the last lesson was finished here, the town was not far behind. Small-town schools help hold together the fabric of West Texas. That's why the Wheeler County town of Kelton is fighting to keep its school open. The school is the biggest building in town. In fact, it's about the only building in town. Lawmakers in Austin say Kelton has one of the richest school districts in Texas. But try telling that to the people who live here, where the only sign of commerce is a soft drink machine. Lawmakers may consider the school district rich, but it's not fancy. There's no choir, no swimming pool, no football team. There are not enough students to make a squad. Kelton has only 7 seniors and 4 juniors. The entire junior high class can fit in one room.
The 4th period right here in the Texas history have 11. That's our biggest class of the day.
Some classes are much smaller.
Why don't you read for a little bit and then I'll read to you.
Kelton offers the ultimate in student-teacher ratios.
Now, this is my smallest class, but my largest class is 7.
Kelton surpasses all the educational requirements mandated by the state. No student has ever failed an exit test. Yet Kelton receives absolutely no state money. The Kelton School District sits on a huge oil and gas field. Lawmakers want Kelton to share the wealth.
If we don't take their money, they shouldn't take ours. To me, that's socialism.
Anyone that's downstate that feels like they're not getting equal treatment, we'd welcome them here to come up here and come to our school and be part of our district. And they'd get the equality they want without us having to send it down there to them.
The superintendent says Kelton would have to close or consolidate if it were forced to give up its tax base. The school is too small, he says, to run on anything less.
Reeks a little bit of communism.
Bill Wheeler taught school here in the 50s.
And we hit oil here, and all of a sudden we want to send our money everywhere else. Nobody came and helped us, and we was poor.
See, there's a little rounded part.
Oh, yeah.
Students of the 8th grade art class, all 3 of them, draw the only neighboring building and wonder what school would be like outside Kelton.
It's just like family out here, you know? There's less people out here you have a better chance at being something.
And the town of Kelton, as small as it is, has a better chance of surviving with its school than without it.
Everything that's around here focuses here at the school. So when that's gone, Kelton's gone.
Charles Hatlock, 11 News, Wheeler County.
Most of us have an old box or two tucked in the back of our closets. Some filled with happy memories.
He was a good leader.
And some with pain. Brad Zukroff has not gone through this box of his brother's things in 35 years.
My brother died horribly.
Marine Corporal Stephen Zukroff was blown apart by a landmine during the Vietnam War, the day after Mother's Day, his 21st year. 3 decades later, Stacy Hansen, a firefighter in San Jose, California, found something of Stephen's while vacationing near Da Nang. His dog tag, and a stunning story.
This is such a personal thing, and I couldn't believe that they're just lying in the bottom of some case.
A pile of U.S. military dog tags on display in a dingy Ho Chi Minh City museum.
Those were all my American brothers.
Hansen could not leave them behind. So she bought the dog tags for about $2 a piece.
How did you know you weren't being taken?
Well, I didn't know 100%, and I thought the worst thing that would be happening would be that I would be contributing to their poor economy.
Standing there, sorting through all those rusting bits of metal, she wondered how they had been lost, and if there were more. So the vacation became a quest.
Did the Vietnamese people help you?
Absolutely. Yeah, they were great.
A taxi driver wrote her a note in Vietnamese explaining her search. It became her calling card. Hansen traveled all over the country for 5 weeks, cleared out a savings account, came home with 566 tags.
I didn't leave any tags that I saw. I bought every single one that I could find.
Why are you so passionate about this? A war that you don't remember, people you've never met.
So many of them were teenagers or young men, and they never had their life. So if I can bring some type of closure or healing to those families, I'm willing to do that.
Back in California, Stacy started having second thoughts. Finding all those GIs and their families seemed too daunting. So she put her pile of dog tags on a closet shelf. 6 months later, she pulled them down and decided to make a few phone calls.
I'm not looking for, anything in return. All I'm looking for is an address to send this to.
She has already found 95. Most live too far to visit. But Stephen Zucroft's brother is just an hour away.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, Stacy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
These are not the moments in life many historians record.
You've seen the name. Now you should see the person. And that's
him.
That's my brother on a pony. So.
Well, I want to give you.
Oh, yeah.
Something.
Neither distance nor years have paled Brad's memory of his brother.
That's really amazing. Thanks. Thank you. That's sweet.
You're so welcome.
Torn, tarnished. Sometimes history has a way of finding us.
It's come a long ways.
For today, Bob Dotson, NBC News, Santa Cruz, California. The first explosion about 9:30 this morning blew out windows at the North Atlanta Family Planning Clinic. 10 people were in the building, 4 in the first floor doctor's offices. No one was hurt.
It only lasted for a few seconds, so you're basically shocked you really didn't know what was going on at the time.
Where were you in the building and where was the explosion? Oh my God!
This second explosion, about an hour later, injured a television photographer, an ATF agent, and at least 4 others.
Get back, let's go!
That blast, felt for miles, tore through a dumpster on the other side of the building.
Whoa, we got a bomb that just went off!
Additional security was dispatched to all Atlanta abortion clinics, while the bomb squad scoured the area for another device.
Everybody get back!
No one has claimed credit for these explosions. Police say there were no calls to 911 beforehand, and clinic workers received no threats.
Our OR room and our recovery room is gone.
Oh, wow.
This is Susanna.
So it's inside as opposed to right outside the wall?
It's inside the clinic.
So do you think
our whole clinic is gone?
This same clinic was bombed 13 years ago in a different Atlanta location. But authorities are not sure today's bombs were actually targeting the abortion offices.
As far as a motive, I know a lot of you are assuming this is related to abortion clinic violence. That is definitely a possibility, but we are not ruling out the possibility of domestic terrorism unrelated to clinic violence.
Agents would not reveal what kind of explosives were found, but say they will check first to see if they are connected to last summer's explosion at the Atlanta Olympics. Perhaps most troubling, police say, was the timing of today's explosions. The stronger of the two set to go off just after federal agents arrived. Bob Dotson, NBC News, Atlanta. Most of us seldom venture out beyond the limits of our settled lives. But Clyde Butcher is as comfortable in this swamp as any man easing into his bath. He spends his days deep in the Florida Everglades, searching for what others have not seen.
Isn't that kind of a nice little composition right there? Oh, got it.
Clyde sells what he sees.
What do you see that?
For as much as $35,000 a print.
That looked like a giant redwood forest.
His vision has made him one of the most honored landscape photographers in America.
All these images are feelings. If the feeling comes out, it works.
They don't always come quickly. He's been known to search a week for the perfect spot. Then wait. Sunrise to sunset, another 5 days for just the right weather and light.
Look at this, the way this light's hitting here.
Clyde lugs around an old box camera that makes enormous prints with astonishing detail.
It's 1,002.
That may be why his pictures seem so different.
And just a little bit more. How's that for exact?
The Julia Childs of photography.
Clyde lives where he works, in the middle of the Everglades, a river of sawgrass and cypress 70 miles long.
When I first started here, I was scared to death.
The swamp can be intimidating, but Clyde says he's never been injured.
Where the food is, is where the animals will be.
Is there food here?
Nope.
Good.
Nope. We have a plant here that is carnivorous.
A carnivorous plant?
Uh-huh. The thing it eats is mosquito larvae.
Oh, good.
You like that, huh?
Yeah. Clyde, don't leave me. He has been searching for the perfect picture all his life. Clyde's wife, Nikki, raised 2 kids on a sailboat so he could look the world over.
I wanted a life of adventure, and I've lived to regret it ever since. That's all my life has been.
Watching Clyde muck about living this improbable life, you might think that love brought him here. But it was grief. Back in 1986, he took his camera and turned to the swamp after a drunk driver killed his 17-year-old son, Ted. It happened on Father's Day.
Standing in this cathedral of trees that filters light like stained glass, he began to question his search for perfection.
Who wants a picture of a swamp? You know, I mean, I just didn't think people would be interested.
But he emerged with photographs so powerful, people drive for hours and pack the parking lot of his gallery in the middle of the Big Cypress National Preserve.
Woo!
Clyde invites them to step out of their air-conditioned comfort zones and enter a world of beauty few of us ever pause to see. They don't have to go far. One of Clyde's most popular photos was taken near his parking lot. Sometimes the place never seen is the place we simply pass by. For today, Bob Dotson, NBC News, in the Florida Everglades. Braden Kirchner likes to conduct music with his eyes closed so he can see his dream. He wants to join John Williams and Arthur Fiedler and Keith Lockhart, the select few who have conducted the Boston Pops.
What do you and Keith Lockhart have in common?
Both young and handsome.
And he's more confident than I am.
Never mind that Braden is just 18. To prepare for a career in conducting, he's learning to play every instrument in the orchestra. 12 so far.
If I gave you orders and I didn't play your instrument, you wouldn't take that order as seriously. No, 1, 2, 3, 1.
Okay.
The friends Braden tutors in Goose Creek, South Carolina know he's serious.
Good, but when you do it, don't go. Just go.
While they hung out last summer, doing what teenagers do, he worked 11 jobs.
I have it planned out. See?
He told his mom, Diane, he needed $10,000.
Which I will do
fast.
It's a little shock to me because at that time I just lost my job.
The boy with a dream had seen an ad on the internet saying fans could conduct the Boston Pops if they donated big bucks to the orchestra.
It's just money. And if that can buy you the thing that you wanted all your life, then it's worth it to me.
Braden could have had a fundraiser to get the cash. He did not. Instead, he mowed most of the yards in the neighborhood, worked the overnight shift at the Waffle House, delivered newspapers and pizzas. 6 months later, he had $5,000, half the money he needed.
There were a lot of people talking behind the scenes that when the time came, we would make sure he got there.
Please welcome in his Boston Pops conducting debut, Braden Kirchner.
Turns out that $5,000 was enough. Last night, the Pops performed in South Carolina, just down the road from Goose Creek, with a new guest conductor. Standing on that stage, Braden tallied up what his dream had cost.
All the hundreds of yards I mowed and the hundreds of cars I washed and all the late night jobs.
Is the bill a bargain?
I could buy a new car, but it would rust and break down in 20 years. And then this is something that I'll always have with me.
Oh, he'll have something more than a memory. The Pops return Braden's money to help him pay for college. Some things aren't bought. They're earned.
My heart jumped out of my chest. It was the coolest thing I've ever experienced.
For today, Bob Dotson, NBC News, Goose Creek, South Carolina.
I wish I could do it again.
To surrender a dream leaves life as it is, and not as it could be. Nick Ackerman wanted to be the best college wrestler in the land, and didn't care he had not a leg to stand on.
My knees are the same as everybody else's feet, you know?
As a boy growing up in Colfax, Iowa, Nick tried all sorts of sports.
Soccer and baseball and track.
Even football, on artificial legs.
I was the only guy to break his leg in the first half and play in the second. My dad went home and got a different set of legs, an old set of legs, and I put him on and went out there and finished the games.
Because his mom, Cindy, allowed Nick to take risks.
I didn't want him to be stopped from doing things, so I went, you know, to the teachers, to the coaches, and everybody I could tell them, you know, let him get hurt.
What do you think of your flex foot, Nicholas?
I like it.
How come?
Because I can bounce.
She figured bumps and falls could be fixed, but not letting Nick try could do permanent damage.
I always thought I was the normal one. I used to break off the legs of all the G.I. Joe guys or whatever I was playing with to make them cool like me, you know?
Nick's legs were the center of a life or death battle when he was a baby. At 18 months, he contracted a deadly form of meningitis that put him in a coma.
By the time we got to the hospital, his skin was just black.
Doctors had to amputate his legs below the knee to save his life.
When you almost lose your son, you have a whole different prospect on life. And so I've celebrated every day of his life since.
Cindy was in the stands this spring when Nick, now a 21-year-old senior at Simpson College in Iowa, wrestled his way to the NCAA championships. He fought a fellow who had not lost in 60 matches. No one without legs had ever won. Until now. Nick not only won, he was chosen outstanding college wrestler in the country. He was thinking about a line from his favorite poem.
You are the handicap you must face. You are the one to choose your place.
Nick had planned to be a park ranger after graduation this spring. Growing up, he spent much of his time out here, tromping through fields and fishing. Working with nature seemed the logical choice for a small-town guy, but sometimes when you climb the ladder of success, you find that it's been leaning against the wrong wall. Lately, he's been considering another career, designing artificial legs.
I think it's such a rewarding job to provide somebody with the opportunity to not have limitations.
Like two of his grandfathers had. They also lost legs in accidents.
Nicholas is put on this earth to live the life that his grandfathers couldn't live.
Back then, artificial limbs were so limiting.
See, I can just do like that and it will bend automatically.
Now, they are the tools of a champion. For today, Bob Dotson, NBC News, Des Moines, Iowa. These cops are training for a deadly competition. They are called the Flying Squad.
Yo, come here, fellas. Come here, come here.
It's their job to chase street kids who sell drugs. Joe Gabe carries an unusual weapon. He shoots snapshots to scare away the dope dealer's customers.
This picture is going to go in my file.
Why not just arrest them?
It doesn't do any good. Arrest them, 4 hours later, back out on the street. None whatsoever.
Chief Greenberg says this is cheaper and just as effective as a squad of detectives gathering evidence.
You destroy that corner as a place where drugs can be sold, it won't matter whether he's out of jail or not. Can't make a living there.
Is he friendly?
When the pushers move indoors, Willie Robinson drops by.
Why are you moving out, man? You don't like this area? They don't like that at all, you know, but then they can't do anything about it. You know, we're just being friendly, as cops are supposed to be, real friendly.
The flying squad can't catch everyone, so they concentrate on keeping the seller and customers apart.
Stop the stop sign, please.
At night, they set up roadblocks outside known drug-buying areas. If drivers don't know who they're going to see, they're invited to leave.
We're going to turn you around right here. You don't have any business in Bayside Manor.
If they do know, the cops go with them to see who's home.
Open it up. Open it. Open it up. Tell me, what is that? Turn around. Take your socks off.
The Charleston police are fighting this drug war with every law on the books.
Yo. Tell me, what is that? Huh? Tell me, what is that?
I have my cigarette.
Suspected dealers have even been cited for littering. If they fail to show up in court, the cops get a warrant and arrest them on Friday nights.
Because there's no bond. He could be a millionaire. Can't get out. He's got to wait till Monday morning. So he just reached in, boom, took a whole weekend away from him with what turned out to be a littering violation that he didn't pay.
Yes, this is the United States here.
Yeah, man.
This is the Drug Attack Force, DEA,
Don't you love
Charleston,
it?
South Carolina.
Don't you love it?
No police brutality lawsuits have been filed since Greenberg took over. The cops have been trained not to treat everyone like a suspect. If they break something in hot pursuit, they will come back and fix it for free. The chief doesn't run neighbors away from a crime scene. Instead, he asks their help.
Just tell them to come on over to the station.
How well is it working? Charleston's crime rate is the lowest it's been in 25 years. There are about half the number of murders, robberies, and burglaries. By disrupting these daily drug deals, even the public housing projects seem safer. Only one person has been shot and killed in the past 5 years.
In some inner cities, police are seen as an army of occupation. In Charleston, they are liberators.
We don't let the hoodlums run us out. We can run them out. That's the way we feel about it.
A decade ago, Charleston had drug dealers on 35 corners. Today, someone else may be taking their calls.
Flip, flap. Flip, flap. Flip, flap.
The uncertainty,
I don't see him anywhere, man.
is terrible for business.
Do you need anything?
Bob Dotson, NBC News, Charleston, South Carolina.
Do you need anything? Yeah. What you need, man?
Beyond this line lies an endless summer. Clarence Leaky Fawcett is 77. Pat Riley and Harry Sharanaka are in their 90s. Between these two teams, the Kids and the Cubs, 60 players have had nearly 5,000 birthdays. 3 times a week, these old boys play like all those years never happened.
What keeps us all alive, truly, is that we look forward to playing ball.
Rookies can try out the year they turn 75.
I got it.
This winter, Ethel Lehman became the first woman to break into that old boys club.
We've been behind the times, way behind the times.
When Ethel was a kid, she was seldom more than a pebble kick from a ballpark.
Already I was using that right arm. Well, that's one of my assets, my right arm.
Back in the 1940s, she played on town teams around Long Island, New York, until her mother told her nice girls didn't do that after they grew up. So Ethel quit, got married, and raised 5 kids, but never lost her passion for play.
Whew.
Now, in the autumn of life, Ethel is determined not just to try, but excel at every sport she can.
Grandma's off her rocker. Yeah, that grandma's been off her rocker for a long time.
She still runs 5-kilometer road races with her 11-year-old grandson at a pace close to 10 minutes per mile. So no one was surprised when Ethel checked out a library book and taught herself to toss a javelin, or started her own softball team for women over 65. She won gold in both events at the Senior Olympics. When her husband George was invited to join the Kids and Cubs this winter, Ethel naturally tagged along.
When I came here, I had such cotton balls in my mouth. I kept running for the faucet for water. So I was very nervous.
Until she got her first hit.
Ethel did all this despite what could have been a career-ending car accident. She was struck in a crosswalk 5 years ago, landed on her throwing arm, needed 60 sessions of physical therapy to toss a ball again.
Who's got it? All right, first.
Ethel and George were put on opposing teams. Ethel pounded a double. George legged out a triple, sending the game into extra innings.
He did that with my bat.
Finally, thank you, Lord.
With the score tied, Ethel raced for home. Heartbeats clocking the distance. George hasn't won many medals in their 48 years of marriage, but he's learned.
It takes more grace than one can tell to play that second fiddle well.
For Ethel, this game is more than who scores the most. In the midst of winter, she found her invincible summer.
Plays at third.
For today, Bob Dotson, NBC News, St. Petersburg, Florida.
All right, good going, Charles.
Well, suffice it to say it works. How about if we just leave it at that? I mean, basically what we've done is we've established the ability to transmit live from this vehicle using a pretty sophisticated camera which can be outside the vehicle and take the bumps and the jars, and you may be getting a little bit of that. I frankly don't know how well the camera's working right now. Sometimes it works pretty well and sometimes it doesn't, but took a lot of planning and a lot of effort on the part of a lot of people, but obviously in the end I think we benefit from it, and I hope that our viewers benefit from it, because it certainly is an unprecedented view of American ground troops as they prepare to engage in battle. In World War II, Rommel said, and this is a paraphrase, but Rommel, the great Panzer tank commander for the Germans, said that the war is decided before the first shot is fired by the quartermaster, meaning the people who supply the food, and especially for this unit, the fuel and the water and the mechanics like Private McLean over here, they're the ones who make an army go. I mean, we tend to focus on the tanks and